Start sentences with curiosity, not certainty. The most magnetic people you'll ever meet aren't the ones who try to dominate the room with certainty. They're the ones who start with curiosity, because curiosity invites. It pulls people in. It says, I'm interested in you. I want to know more. Certainty shuts the door. Curiosity opens it. And people feel that difference instantly. When you start a sentence with, I wonder, or have you noticed, or what's your take on, you're not putting the spotlight on yourself. You're turning it toward them. And that makes them feel valued. Think about it. When someone talks like they already know everything, the conversation becomes a wall. You're either agreeing with them or competing with them. But when someone starts with curiosity, the conversation becomes a space, a place where you can play, explore, discover things together, and that's where connection happens. The trick is, curiosity also makes you sound more confident. It's not the I'm afraid to speak up kind of curiosity. It's the I know there's more to learn here and I want to learn it with you kind. And when you carry that energy, people trust you more. They open up, they lean in. Match their energy, then raise it slightly. People feel safe when they sense that you get them. If someone's talking in a calm, steady voice and you come in bouncing off the walls, they'll feel like you're on a different planet. If someone's excited and animated and you're responding like you just woke up from a nap, you'll kill the vibe instantly. So the first step is to meet them where they are. Mirror their tone, their pace, their level of enthusiasm. Let them feel that unspoken, we're in sync moment. But here's where the magic happens. Once you're matched, you lift the energy just a bit. A slightly warmer smile, a little more brightness in your voice, a touch more enthusiasm in your words. Not so much that it feels forced or overwhelming, but enough that you subtly pull them upward. People are drawn to those who make them feel more alive, more engaged, more excited about the conversation. You become the spark they didn't know they needed. It's like dancing. You don't drag someone onto the floor at full speed. You start moving with them, step for step, and then you guide them into a rhythm that's just a little more fun than the one they were in. That's when they stop thinking about the conversation and start feeling it. Speak in pictures, not data. When you speak in pictures, you're not just telling people something, you're showing them. And showing is what the human brain is wired for. We evolved to respond to sights, sounds, smells, things we can sense. That's why when you say he was angry, it's just a statement. But if you say he slammed the coffee mug so hard the table shook, now they can see the anger. They can hear it. They can almost feel the vibration in their bones. Think about the people you remember after they speak. It's not the ones who rattled off spreadsheets in human form. It's the ones who made you see the story. The friend who didn't say the party was crazy, but said, we were dancing in the kitchen at 3 a.m. barefoot, passing around a bowl of popcorn like it was champagne. That's sticky. That's charisma. Use their name, but drop it mid-sentence. There's something almost magnetic about hearing your own name. It cuts through the noise. It makes people lean in, even if just for a second. You could be in a crowded room, music thumping, conversations overlapping, and if someone says your name, boom, you hear it. It's like your brain has a special VIP line for that sound. But here's the subtle trick. You don't just drop someone's name at the beginning or the end of a sentence the way most people do. That feels scripted, transactional. Hi, Sarah, how's your day? Or thanks for coming, Sarah. That's fine, polite even, but it doesn't make them feel it. What you do instead is weave it right into the middle of what you're saying, like it's the most natural thing in the world. Think about the difference between, you know, Sarah, I was just thinking about that same thing yesterday, versus, I was just thinking about that same thing yesterday, Sarah. The first feels like you're about to tell them something with them. The second feels like you're dropping the name as a warm little anchor in the middle of your thought, like you're making the whole conversation orbit around them for a second. Answer questions sideways. Most people answer questions like they're ticking boxes on a form. Someone asks, what do you do? And they reply, I'm an engineer. End of story. It's neat, it's factual, it's forgettable. The problem is, facts don't spark curiosity. Stories do. And charisma lives in that curiosity gap. Answering sideways means you don't walk straight to the obvious answer. You take the scenic route. You leave a little mystery, a little hook, something that makes the other person lean in and think, wait, what does that mean? You say, I build things that make people's lives a little easier. Or I'm in the business of making people's mornings less chaotic. Instead of, I work in product design. Same truth, completely different impact. Because here's what's really going on. When you answer directly, the conversation hits a dead end. The other person now has to dig to keep it going. But when you answer sideways, you're handing them a thread they want to pull on. And people love to pull threads. They ask follow-ups. They get curious. And suddenly, you're not in a Q&A session anymore. You're in a conversation. Talk in contrasts. If you want to sound magnetic when you speak, You can't just talk in straight lines. Straight lines are predictable. If you just say, "This is good," okay, that's fine. But if you say, "This is so good, it almost feels wrong," now you've created a little spark. You've put two ideas together that shouldn't quite fit, good and wrong. And that tension wakes people up. Our brains are wired for patterns. And when you break the pattern, even for a second, you pull attention in like gravity. And you see this all the time in people who own the room. They'll paint one side of the picture, then the other. Light, then dark. Harsh truth, then soft laugh. They might say, "He's the most stubborn person I know, and the most loyal." Or, "This is the worst idea I've ever loved." Those contrasts make you feel something because they mimic life itself. Life isn't one note, it's a chord, and the best communicators know how to play it. Tell micro stories. When people think of storytelling, they imagine some long epic with a beginning, middle, and end, like you're supposed to launch into a 10-minute saga every time you talk. But here's the thing. In real conversations, charisma doesn't come from long, drawn-out tales. It comes from micro stories, tiny little snapshots, a few sentences that take someone right into a moment with you. A micro story is like handing someone a piece of chocolate instead of a whole cake. It's quick, easy to digest, but still rich. You're not just saying, "I was nervous." You're saying, "Right before my name got called, I could feel my hands sweating and my heart was beating so loud I thought the whole room could hear it." Boom. That's a micro story. Just enough detail to make someone feel it. The magic is that these little stories slip into conversation so naturally. You're not making a big deal out of them, you're just painting a moment. And people lean into moments. It makes you more vivid, more real. You're not just listing facts, you're letting them see the scene, feel the energy, hear your voice in that moment. Think about it. When you meet someone new, they don't remember the exact words you said, they remember how you made them feel. Micro stories are emotional delivery systems. They bypass logic and go straight to imagination. You're giving their brain something to picture. And once they can picture it, they can connect to it. It's also how you sneak personality into everyday conversations. You could say, "I went to the gym this morning," or you could say, "I got halfway through my workout, then this guy next to me started grunting so loud it sounded like he was giving birth to a baby elephant." Same fact, but one is forgettable, the other is a little movie in their head. And here's the other secret. Micro stories aren't just for entertainment. They're trust builders. When you tell a small personal story, you're revealing a slice of yourself. You're saying, "Here's something from my world." That makes people open up in return. Charisma isn't just about dazzling people. It's about making them feel safe enough to engage back. Share the spotlight. Most of us are so wrapped up in our story, our joke, our opinion, that we miss the gold sitting right in front of us. We're rehearsing what to say next while the other person is still talking. We're polishing our punchline instead of actually listening. And when you do that, people can tell. They might not consciously notice it, but something in them feels unheard. Sharing the spotlight means shifting your focus. It's outer directedness again, getting out of your own head and really seeing the person across from you. Ask questions that make them light up. Notice the details, what they get excited about, what they're proud of, what makes them lean forward when they talk. And when they say something worth celebrating, put the light on them. Give them credit. Highlight their win.